Cool. So, should I just talk like I'm talking to you, or should, well, whatever, you know. You have a little bit of Vaseline left. So I'll just do it. You want to make sure your brows are clean before you do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to use any water or anything, right? Okay.
The first thing I usually do is brush through, just comb through. So you're starting with them looking all fresh and dandy. And don't brush down because then there's not like where your brows are naturally placed. You want to brush like up diagonally.
And that's just with the spoolie?
Yeah, just so that they're in a good place.
Okay.
And then knowing where your brows should start and all that is this is your first point, boop. And then your next point is your cornea. Your third one is your pupil when you're looking straight ahead. And your fourth one is the outermost corner of your eye. And then if you line up those 2 points, you could just use your brow pencil. I did that a little diagonally. But when you do that, you can see where your brows points should line up. And you can see the front, the arch, and the back when you do that. So when you start your brow, you should always do the top line first. That should be your first step always. And whenever you do any brow thing, you should hold your pencil a little higher up so you have more control, and you should hold it like a pencil. And then you can have control over like your pressure and all of that. I'm gonna go like this.
Okay.
So they don't get in the way. Alright, and always use lots of soft feathery strokes, like do to make your straight line. I don't want to shadow. Okay. And then I never start it all the way over where your brow should start. I usually start a little bit further back so I can do like a hard line and then blend it out, and that'll make it look more natural. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to start doing lots of little feathery strokes to make a straight line on top. And you can build up your color to see how dark you want. And also don't worry about how dark it is because you can spoolie it all off afterwards.
So this is the top line, and you're just feathering that line along.
Yes, and making a completely straight line on top. And then, once I get to my next point where the arch should start, I do another straight line, like completely straight line, but not too steep, and don't start it too far back. You want to make sure that you start it out far enough, because otherwise it will look unnatural and it will make your eye shape small and close together, which is not what you're trying to do. And then you just make a straight line down, connecting this exact point to your end point. So that's your top line. It's a little bit darker than we did last time, but that's okay.
Yeah, I see.
And you want to make sure that this is not a strong curve, and I'm fixing that right now. You want it to be more of a corner.
So kind of you focus on this being a straight line to your arch point, and then you're going to work your line straight down to your end point. And just feathering it the whole time. Okay.
Yes. And then you do your bottom line, which is the same, and you want to keep it exactly parallel with your top line. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing, lots of soft feathery strokes. You want to be careful not to let your eye shape, like your eye socket, to move where your hand goes for that line, because your socket is like kind of near that point, or the little puffy part above your socket, and you don't want it to start angling down and following that line. Okay. So use the top as a guide.
Watch you do that to that point, because it's a little confusing for me.
Yes.
I see what you're doing. Yes. Okay.
And then you want to take that line and bring it all the way over. I find that really guarantees that.
All the way over to the top line?
Yes. Boop. Even though it's after where the second straight line started, I just bring it all the way over.
Okay.
And then right under where your arch is, that's where your point that you're going to start on the bottom line to your end point. So that should be another straight line. Like that.
Okay.
And then you have your brow shape. And then you just fill it in the center. Also, I didn't say this before, but when you do your brows, you don't want to apply it like this. You want to apply it like this to get the most out of the smallest part of your pencil.
Okay.
And then you have more control over the lines. Like that.
Yes.
See, and now you have a strong brow shape. And then that's when you take your spoolie to take off all your excess product and to blend it out. And also, don't forget to bring this line forward a little bit so it's where it's supposed to start.
Oh, you start that spoolie before the beginning of the brow.
Yes.
To blend it in, okay.
And also, I said this before, the whole, after you finish spooling it, that's when you can go back in and add product wherever you think you might need it.
After you spool it, okay.
And since we're definitely going for a more natural brow, you want to take off a lot of the product, no matter how dark you made it, just so you can see the lines.
Yeah, I can see, and I can feel the force that you're using. Mm-hmm. I'm always like so nervous about doing that, but you're actually putting some force on that.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to put a little bit of product more on the top line right here, because in the front part,
you can see it, yeah.
Because with this lighter blonde ash color and stuff that you use, because your hair is so light, the blend is like a lot softer, and I want it to be still visible. And then when I do this, I'm using lots of light strokes because, yeah, like you don't want to add too much product. You know, this is all just real natural. Yeah, this is the part that's not really like formulated. It's all just your eye, how you think it should look.
It looks really good.
And make sure that it's not patchy anywhere, and that it's even colored all the way across, because that will make it look unnatural.
It looks like a brow, like right now.
Boom. Nice. And then that's when we take the brow gel, and on one side we scrape off the product. Boop, boop, boop. And then on that scraped off side, we're going to use that on the front, and then the non-scraped off side we're going to use on the back part, so you have a better gradient. And don't forget that this gunky part at the top, you want to make sure you kind of angle that a little bit away from your brow, because if you get that gunky part on, then it'll be like way too dark and clumpy and it won't be cute. Okay. So you take this, and this is the one where with the spoolie, you want it like the clean spoolie, you want it to go straight horizontal, because if you go up diagonal, it will cover, the spoolie won't reach the top hairs because the bottom hairs will be blocking it because you're going up. With this one, you want to go a little bit more diagonal with lots of soft little strokes.
Okay.
Actually, let me just show you the difference between the two real quick. With this one, you want to try to go like this. If you can see the screen. Boop,
yes.
Boop,
okay.
Boop, boop.
Yes.
With this one, you want to go lots of little dun, 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 going up.
Yes,
more.
like feathery type things.
Yeah, and you want to go up diagonally.
Okay.
And like I said, you want to try to keep the gunky front part away. Yeah. And then this is where I'm going to start to turn it a little bit so that a little bit more product is on this back part. Also, a lot of people do this when they're first learning to like put stuff on, like eyeliner and all that kind of stuff. If you use your pinky and you put it somewhere on your face, that's a good way to have like a little bit more stability when you're doing like really fine little things, you know. And then I always make sure that my last step is with the spoolie. Take off all any excess product, and I brush always straight up for this last one, even though when all other times you're supposed to go across. But this very last time, after everything, when it's the very last step, I go straight up with the entire thing, and then I go one line, not touching the skin, brushing it straight across, and matching the top lines, just so that it makes the hairs lay down in a way that's more flattering to the face. Unless you're doing like a bushy boy brow, then you would go up. But we're not doing that. Alright, and then this is the eyebrow.
Looks great.
Awesome. Yeah. Alright, and I'm just gonna do the other side.
Yep.
And
Gonna repeat the same steps on the other side.
yes.
But what was it you told me I have to? Oh, because I have to hold my hand differently.
Yeah, because that was almost exclusively for. Well, actually, it's for both. But this, you always want to make the tip of this not angled towards your brow, and you go like this. It's a lot easier, especially if you're used to putting on mascara, to put the corner in first. But you have to really push it out, and also feel free to rest your hand on your face.
Okay.
You know, to have stability. And the same with this, because remember before, you want to get the angle of it. You want like this, where the tip is pointing down towards the brow.
Yes.
You know, and you don't want it straight like this, and you don't want it like pushed against like this. And so to get that point angle, you also have to sort of angle your hand a little weird, you know, get that point.
Okay.
You know? Once you do your brows more and you get more practice, it will feel more natural, the angle you have to do to put the right amount of pressure with your products and stuff. All right. So before, remember, your points are from your inner nose corner and then to your cornea, your pupil, and your outermost point. Those are your other points. And so you just make the line, and you start with your top line.
And you're starting more, not quite at the end, right?
Okay. Yeah, because if you start right at the end and then you spoolie it out, the product will move forward a little bit, and then it'll be too far in it, and you won't like that shape. Yeah. And then remember, light feathery strokes.
So you're actually using more of the side of your pencil.
Yes.
It's more like you're painting it on, not drawing it on.
Yeah. That's a good technique to use. The painters who go like all in that wrist instead of like.
Yes.
Right. And then making. Also, this one's important to keep on looking at your original brow to make sure that it's equal. And then I'm going to start the arch around here. And make sure that the arch isn't too steep, because if it's too steep, then that's very like unnatural looking and not flattering.
What do you mean by too steep?
Like, you want to make sure that your arch shape is like just sort of sloping away instead of cutting down, because if it cuts down, it will make your eyes look like smaller and closer together, and it won't be cute. And then I'm gonna make these lines more of a corner, but first I'm just making I'm gonna angle your head like that. Whoop, down a little more. Yeah. Alright. And then I'm gonna make this a little bit more of a corner. Don't make it too sharp, because a sharp corner, like, people don't naturally have sharp corners on their arch. But I'm just making it a little bit more angular, so it's less of, so the slope isn't coming down into the brow shape as much. You know? And then bringing it all the way to our point, like that. And then,
do my eyebrows seem like that's sort of their natural flow there on the very ends, because they're so thin on the ends sometimes I don't feel like there's anything there.
That's what we're drawing.
Is there hair there? Okay.
Yeah, there's hair there.
Okay.
It's just lighter. And then, just like before, we're making it completely parallel. Lots So light feathery strokes and being sure to avoid where that natural sort of how it naturally feels like it should go. You want to ignore that line.
Okay.
Because that line is a little too curvy. And that's how everyone's like sort of like the puff right above your socket.
Yeah.
If you go like this, you can see that line.
Yes.
You don't want to follow that.
Okay. See, that's what I'm always trying to do.
That line.
Yes.
Don't want to go there. Am I covering? No, I'm not. Making sure that it's still straight line. And you're bringing it all the way over.
Yeah, I see that.
So you have a completely straight line.
Yep.
And then right under where your arch starts, you're connecting your line.
You're connecting the bottom line to the top line at the end.
Yes, but it's with another straight line.
It's with yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this part's a rectangle, this part's a triangle.
Oh, no, say that again now.
This part's a rectangle because the two lines are parallel, and this one's a triangle because you're trying two straight lines to come to a point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, drag it out just a tiny bit so that it's a little more pointed and it's less of like a soft curve.
Yes.
Because that's not cute, bro. All right, and then look at it and make sure that they're even. So let me see them. Yes, that looks good.
Mm-hmm. That looks good.
Good shape. And then that's when you fill it all in. Don't want to cover it in the camera. And you can make that front part as dark as you want because when you blend it out, it will extend further the more product there is. And make sure that it's covered evenly across the brow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to cover the light sort of reflecting over your brow. Yeah, cute. Alright, and then you spoolie out your extra product to make it a little bit lighter. Bring that product forward. Also, something I noticed with your brows is because there is less hair on this part, like you thought. There is hair there, but there's less hair.
Yeah.
So when you spoolie off the product, it's scraping it right off the skin, so more product is coming off.
Okay.
So I would probably use a lighter hand spoolie on this back part. But remember, you can always go in and fill more in. But I think before, that's why it was a little bit patchy, is because you're using the same pressure across all of it, and the same pressure took more off this end.
Okay.
So, yeah, see, when you use the spoolie back here, it's taking off more than it is up there. So I would go back in a little bit. And then continue scraping off the front. Making sure there are no patches where like your lines might look darker because you're not going as heavy around the sides because you don't want to like ruin the shape. And so the lines are probably usually going to be darker. You want to make sure that it's still not all patchy. And this is where you just use your eye to go where you think the lines should probably look a little better. Like I said, with how light your eyebrow is, the product won't move as far because the darker it is, the more product will like move with the pigmentation on it. And so you just want to lightly maybe scrape a little at the front.
Now, does it look like to you? Okay, look at them. Okay. Does it look like to you that this one starts a little lower and this one's a little higher?
Look at it dead on.
Yeah.
I think so too. Usually, I do that with my eyebrows frequently. Usually, I just go like this, push it down just a little bit. I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah.
Push it down, and then I spoolie back straight, and then I might just make that line a little stronger again because I took off some of the makeup when I do that. I mean, it is makeup that's just like sitting on your face. You can move it around, but do you think that's any better? Because if it's not, you can add a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We add a little bit to the...
You can just trick the eye a little bit. Make it a little thicker on top.
Yeah.
Y'all got ghosts? No, it's Jasmine.
So if I'm looking at that, I know they're sisters and not twins, right?
You
Okay.
think that they're a little bit...
Yeah. This one seems like it's a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this one's a little bit lower. Also, it's a problem because see, part of it might be a perception because see this eye and this eye? This eye is more lazy with the eyelid. So I kind of feel like that my eye's always looking, that the eyebrow's lower.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it really is.
Well, since that is an actual thing with your eye, when you do your eyebrows yourself and all that, you can account for that and try to make this one a little bit like millimeter higher.
Okay.
Also, you know how I just pushed that one down a little bit to take off the product, and then when I refilled in the line, it was a little bit lower?
Yeah.
You can do the same with the bottom part, and you can just push up. Like, don't try to wipe. Just put your finger right under where your brow is, and then push. Like, don't put it on the brow. Just push. And then that would take off some of the product. Just a little bit. Yeah. And, like, I would just go like that, and then just go push.
Oh, I see.
And then I would take that line.
You know, it did make a difference.
I do that all the time with my brows because they're usually...
Oh, see, that did make a difference.
I can't
At least
tell...
in how I see it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't tell if it's like a placebo sort of thing.
Yeah,
or like
I know.
I feel like it's higher and the entire time it was in my head.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It helps, you know.
Yeah.
Alright, so we finished spooling and shaping how we think it should be. And now it's time for the brow gel again. So you take it. And also another thing that is like a misconception with mascara and brow gel is that people think to put more product on, you pump it. But that's a really bad idea because when you pump it, it brings more oxygen into the actual makeup canister.
Yes.
And then it will dry out quicker. So if you want to get more product on it, just go like this and then circle it.
Okay.
And then bring it out. Because when you pump it, it's just like whoosh, 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 whoosh. And that's like, ugh.
Huh. I've been pumping it.
Yeah. And that's more of like a mascara thing, but brow gel is more,
yeah.
You know. Alright.
You know, that's the products that we bought together. Remember we went out shopping?
I do remember.
So you see how little I do this? I still have them.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed
really
to
like
throw
them.
away your makeup after a certain point. There's expiration dates, but I never do, which is a bad idea. Well, whatever. Alright, and then I'm using the scraped off side more at the front. I'm doing lots of little strokes. And the further back I get, the more I twist my little spoolie with makeup on.
Get more product. Okay.
And this back part. Because like I said, that's like kind of a trendier thing, the whole like gradient brow, but I think it makes it look nice. And a little bit more natural. That's not natural, but I think it makes it look better.
Yeah.
And then you go like that. And then last step is always the spoolie. Even if my eyebrow already looks perfect, I always just do light spoolie after because you never know. There's like a little bit extra clumpiness.
It just blends it nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's more horizontal, yes.
This one. Just leave a long hair right there. And then I always go up or whatever, and then go across. Boop. Boop.
Nice.
I think that looks good.
It's just what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That looks so natural on me. I love it.
And then I'm going to use this to sort of cover the light coming from up there so that you can see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, now they look the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Abby. Really good job, girl.
Awesome.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I finish this, and I have hairs under here,
yeah,
is that when do I do that first and then just take those hairs off? Do I do that first? Do I do my eyebrows and then because I've just kind of plucked those hairs out. And I know your mom has done the little
wax strips
on me, but I'm afraid to do the wax strips because I'm afraid I'll take off my entire eyebrow.
You don't really have, you mean the hairs that are like down here?
Yeah, all those little hairs.
barely can even see those. Honestly, you could pluck them off, but since it's in such like a clump, I would either have Mom do the wax strips again, or just go see like a beautician or something, and have them do it.
Okay.
Just like a quick little shoo, shoo.
I'm just always afraid that
Actually,
to
these
go.
hairs
I'm
are
afraid they're
going
going to take off too much eyebrow or something, or they might take off some of my eyebrow.
I'll go with you if you want.
What would I have them? What would I say to them?
I want to get my eyebrows done. Any more questions for the actual video?
No, that was explained really nicely. Yes, I think I could watch this and remind myself what to do. They look great.
Yeah, high five. Awesome. Alright, I'm gonna stop the video.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you how to airdrop things and stuff.
Okay.
You know.